Oh, that, you know, the round circle that just takes ages. But we are now live. We are now live. I just wanted to say hi, Theo. Thank you so much for joining us. How are you?
I'm amazing. I'm really, really good. I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for joining us. Hey, look, you have got some dedicated fans. We've got people here from Ecuador, Peru, Argentina, and the Philippines. It's 1 a.m. So they've got up just for you to have a chat to. And we've also got some other content creators on here, some media folks, which is awesome. So yeah, I'm excited to chat and get this underway. So. First up, we've got David Lightbringer, and he's a content creator and owner of David Lightbringer, the YouTube channel, a trusted voice in the Song of Ice and Fire fan base. So, David, what are your questions for Theo?
Well, Theo, first of all, thanks for being on here, and thanks for doing a great job on the show on behalf of everyone. Your woo of joy, riding Seasmoke. I feel like it's become sort of a fan moment because it's so like pure and innocent, and most of the show is very kind of messed up, twisted, bad things happen, but then we have this moment of joy. I think it's awesome because it captures the fun, the thrill of riding a dragon, which you get for just a little glimmer there. So I was wondering, was that improv? Was that like, what can you tell us about that moment? And is there some extra adrenaline to riding the buck that gave you the woo?
Oh, 100% improv. 100% improv. Do you know what, right? So, funny stories. When we done the take, originally, I think it was Miguel or Ryan. Everyone was in the room watching it. And then Miguel and Ryan were like, you need to enjoy it, you're on the dragon, but Leanor, this is what he does. This is fun for him. What he's into that. That's his bag. So, I done the take, and then the woo came out. And originally, I think it was Ryan, obviously the showrunner, he was like, no, that's not gonna make it. No, he was like, what did he say? He said, do it again, or he told Miguel to give me the note to do it again, but take the woo out and try something else. And I knew, I came back and I said to my mum or my friends or someone, I was like, because that happens all the time, you get redirected. That's the job. But someone said to me, that's gonna make it. I knew for a fact it'd make it. And then when the dragon came on, everyone's like watching the dragon. I'm listening. I'm thinking, any second now. And it happened, I was like, yes! So
it really was a great moment. Yeah, so, yeah, why does Seasmoke have that derpy smile? That was the follow-up question.
Oh yeah, I don't know. That's the thing with dragons, like, you don't really see, well, obviously you don't see much of them. When you're filming, it's just the book, isn't it? So, only my imagination, really, when I'm there, is like, Seasmoke's gonna look like X, Y, Z. So, until it comes out, I know as much as you in terms of what the dragon's going to look like, which is, it's like, your fingers crossed that it looks amazing, but you never know.
Well, it's just like you said, Seasmoke enjoys war too, that's his thing, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I was so happy that moment came out of it. But that was the best part of the show, riding the dragon, which is amazing.
I think it's one of the top 5 moments of the entire season, to be honest. You can ask everyone else, but I think it's a pretty cool moment. So. It is, and Theo, you're kind of a legend, actually. The next question: you're one of the few actors to portray a Valyrian riding a dragon into a full-scale battle. The list is literally Emilia Clarke, Kit Harington, Matt Smith, and Theo Nate. So, what else could you tell us about? Yeah, applause, everyone. It's pretty awesome. What else can you tell us? Anything about the Stepstone stuff, the battle, or the sort of the scene right beforehand where y'all are posturing at the map table? That was a pretty awesome entrance for Leanor. It's just like, oh, there's Leanor. He's grown up now. He's got armor. Look at him. You know.
Yeah, it was a bit of a mad one, to be honest, because that scene got edited a lot from the original shoot. From what I remember, anyway, because the opening, I think, got changed dialogue-wise for some reason. And then the visuals weren't really there neither, because the opening for that scene in the script was basically Leanor talking about war, and essentially he's been on the dragon trying to get the crowd feeder out of the cave, but he won't come out the cave. So it's like that was like 5-6 line monologue essentially of him describing that, and we shot it all. And then I think for some reason maybe the writers weren't happy with it, with the way it sounded or whatever. So then when we done when we done ADR, essentially I got told that the lines had changed. So then when I watched it back in the actual episode, because I think on the original tape it like pans out on the sea, and its call is basically talking about the rationing fish and the run out of food and stuff like that. But I think that got changed because in the original script it was Leanor talking about the war. So yeah, that was something I didn't expect. And then in terms of filming, that was amazing. Filming on the cliff and the Stepstones. And yeah, what was your second question?
Oh, just anything about the scene. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. You covered it. It's just funny how it's the life of an actor. You do this great speech that mostly gets chopped up. You give a whoop of joy, and they're like, we're not going to use that dude again. And that's why, that's your big line. So
honestly, you never know what's, obviously you film everything, but you could never know what's going to make it and what, because I would have thought that monologue would have made it entirely, just that would have been the open to the scene as it was on the paper, and then I would have thought the woo would make, if anything would have got cut, it would have been that, but then it's vice versa, so that made it not, you never know, honestly, it's crazy.
Well, thanks a lot for your work this season. You did a great job portraying one of our favorite characters, so thank you.
Thank you.
David, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much. I just want to give a big shout out. We've got people watching this live on YouTube, so please send through your questions and we'll do our best to squeeze some in for Theo to answer. So Theo, next we've got Ashaya, who is the editor and co-host of History of Westeros, and she's got a few questions for you.
Okay.
Hey Theo,
Hello.
I'm so happy to have you here and to be joining you. I had a few questions. Let's see what we can get through. First of all, it's been a while since House of the Dragon has come out. There's a lot of merchandise out now, so I'm curious, do you have any House of the Dragon merchandise yet? And if not, what do we got to do to get you a little Seasmoke?
That's a great question. No, I haven't. Maybe I didn't even realise there was merchandise out, to be honest. When you said that then, I was like, what? I would like a Seasmoke, to be honest. Maybe a big Seasmoke if you can handle that.
Big Seasmoke.
I need to get some. Have you got some?
Yeah, yeah. I could pan my camera around. My entire place is slathered. I'm wearing a sea snake Corley shirt right now, in fact,
Nice.
to rep your father.
Yes.
But they're definitely on the website. There are tote bags and stuff with Seasmoke emblazoned upon it and all that. So there's some merch for you. There's Velaryon and Seasmoke merch, but I think there'll be more coming because Leanor might be gone, but Seasmoke isn't. And so that brings me to my next question. Do you have a vision? Where do you envision Laenor sailed off to at the end of season 1? Like, where would you want to see him happy, I guess?
Well, happiness in Game of Thrones is just so very fleeting, isn't it? I'm not really sure there's anywhere location-wise he could end up, but I always had it in my original thing. I always write loads of backstories for characters and stuff like that, and I always had it like he ends up in just a quiet town somewhere, like a flea market that he goes to every morning, and just he chills out. He's on his own. He changes his name, maybe shaves his hair. I don't know.
Love that.
But I think ultimately that ending for Leanor is possibly the best way it could have ended, really.
Yeah, I agree. I'm a little bit hopeful that maybe we'll see him again, but who knows truly if he'll be coming back seasons later. But to move on, who in the cast did you wish that you got to work with that you didn't? Who did you not get scenes with that you kind of maybe thought you would or wanted to?
Emma Darcy.
Ah.
Emma Darcy. What an actor. There's loads. There's literally loads. Emma. Olivia.
Who was most fun to act with then?
Paddy. Paddy's great.
He looks like such a ham, yeah.
I'm not sure if anyone said this on the interview so far, but Jordan takes, like, you wrap a take and the next thing, you turn to your right or your left and you just hear this Irish accent and Paddy just be saying random stuff. Just random stuff. But yeah, I love the boss. He was great. Everyone, it was really nice cast. Really nice cast, so yeah.
I watched some interviews with you, and I thought it was really interesting. You said that you briefly met older Laenor, kind of on accident on set, John McMillan. Did you ever meet young Laenor, Matthew Carver? And at what point did you learn that there were going to be two whole other actors playing your role?
No, I didn't. I met John, yeah. I met John a few times. I don't remember ever meeting Matthew. Well, I would remember if I did, so no, I never met Matthew. But yeah, on the original audition, I think it was talk of, like, it was a younger version. But then there's so much of it's just, like, secluded in terms of you don't really get told much. So, for all I know, you could have got told, yeah, you're playing a younger version, and you get there and there's no older version, it's just you. Or vice versa, so you just don't know. But yeah, I've met John a few times, John's boss.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time. I hope we can see you at a convention one of these days, eventually.
Definitely. Thank you.
Awesome. Hey, thank you so much, Ashaya. Thank you so much for joining. So Theo, we now have Ari and Denise from Media Nights, which is awesome. So Ari and Denise, what's your question?
How you doing, guys? Very nice to be here. Hello, Theo. Thank you for your time.
Obviously, there's like the obligatory, we're huge fans of your work. We absolutely love the episodes that you were in. We're not going to waste your time. We're just going to go right into the first question.
So, first question that we have is, as an actor, was there any mental activity or exercise that you have to do to get into the world of Westeros, which is so different from our day-to-day? So we were wondering, if you had one, which was it?
Do you know what, right? Because the set is so well built, it's like, you walk in there and you feel like, I remember walking in there doing rehearsals and I was wearing like an Adidas tracksuit, and you still feel like you're own. Do you know what I mean? You still feel like you're there. So, in terms of mental prep, there's scenes that you have to prep for a lot mentally, but I did anyway. But in terms of the as a whole, it's so well built, honestly. The soundstage is ridiculous. So you don't have to do a lot, it's kind of cheating.
Good to know.
So, obviously you talked a little bit about what you think Leanor is up to, like, afterwards, but what was your initial, like, knee-jerk reaction when you saw that Rhaenyra actually spared his life, let's say? Because it's a little bit different from the books.
Yeah, I think I'd heard whispers that it was going to happen like that.
Yeah.
So, and that was obviously half a year before. So, when you see it, you know what's going to happen. But as I say, that was the best thing he could have done, and I think it's good for the character as well, because you kind of like her a lot more rather than she has something bad done to him, because he's harmless, really, isn't he? So, I think it worked best for the show and for the character arc of both characters, really.
I gotta say, we were kind of relieved once you got to just sail off as a character. It was kind of like, okay, at least he survived, because we were pretty convinced that, he was gone for good. Our third question.
You're still waiting for the twist, aren't you? You think something's going to happen even when he's sailing off, so you never know.
Yeah, someone's going to lose their heads for sure. That was like our expectation.
Especially in the world of Westeros, we never know. So
yeah, no one's safe.
It was definitely a relief. The third question was going to be, you already spoke about how they changed a little bit of the, the crab feeder and the Stepstone sequence. Are there any other deleted scenes that you had as Laenor Velaryon?
Not that I can remember. There's never deleted scenes. There's always scenes that are shot fully that maybe the angle weren't on you in the take or anything like that. But not that I can think of deleted scenes-wise. The main one was the dialogue change in the Stepstones. But in terms of like a whole scene being shot, I can't think of one. It's more so just reactions, if you get a note to react to a certain way or certain thing, or there's a scene where Laenor and Joffrey are in a dance and they walk off to the side and they're talking about Kristen Cole. And that little bits of that, I don't think they were cut, but maybe were trimmed maybe a little bit. But that's always off the top of my head, so not a lot.
Gotcha. Okay, awesome. Good to know. Well, Theo, that was all for us. Thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you being here, and it was super, super nice meeting you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ari and Denise, thank you so much for joining in. That's fantastic. Thank you. So Theo, we now have a question from Girl Nettles, and she's been really excited, and so I look forward to hearing her question.
Hi, Hi, Theo. Thank you so much for bringing this character to life. Like, us book readers, like, it's just words on a page, and, like, you kind of have this mental image. And for the first time, like, your portrayal is, like, better than what I imagined in my head, which is, like, kind of sad for me. But I thought I had a great imagination. But thank you!
Thank you so much. That's kind of you. Thank you.
No, yeah, awesome. Okay, so my first question is about the Dragon Bond. Because we see that you're able to fake your death and trick your parents. And you know how, like, they always say, like, parents know, you know, whether their kids are, like, when they pass. And us book readers, we know that that wouldn't be able to work on a dragon. Like, you wouldn't be able to trick your dragon into thinking that you're dead. So my question is, like, kind of like, describe the Dragon Bond, like, your interpretation of it. And follow-up question to that is, like, can the bond be broken? Like, is there, like, a spell that you can sever the bond and kind of shoo the dragon away for its own good? Kind of like how Arya did with Nymeria in Game of Thrones. But yeah, describe the Dragon Bond and can it be severed?
I don't think it can be severed. That's the thing. I remember talking to, was that Miguel or Ryan? I remember saying, so what? Like, Seasmoke's just, where's he gone? I sent him home. He's gonna follow me wherever I go.
Yeah.
And it was kind of a thing of like, yeah, it's fine. Do you know what I mean? But in my mind, I always thought maybe Leanor has to go back for him at some point. It maybe passes off as a temporary thing. But for me, the bond's far too, especially been in battle so many times, and the bond's far too strong for just Leanor to sneak off on a rolling boat and Seasmoke be like, okay. So in my mind, he goes back for him at some point.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, I have one more question. So, when we watch this show, we see Leonor go from that horrible wedding where Joffrey has been senselessly killed, and then the next episode, Leonor's like a doting father, like in a healthy marriage, it seems to me. So I was wondering, kind of like maybe this is like an actor subtext question, like what are those moments that happen in between that you think that could mend that rift?
I think it's just time, isn't it? It really is just time. If you think, how many years was it? 10 years? 7 years?
Yes.
Something like that in between the wedding and episode 5 and 6, sorry. So I think the only thing you can look at is just time heals all, essentially. Otherwise you drive yourself mad, you go, there's no way he'd settle for this. But as I say, he doesn't really have much choice. And Leanor's a good man, that's what he gets described as, do you know what I mean? He's a good man. So, all in all, I don't think he's the type to cause a rift. And essentially, there's nothing you can do with it. So, time's a great healer.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you for answering that. Like, now I can go to sleep at night. Bye!
Thank you so much, thank you.
Thank
See
you,
you
Girl.
soon.
Thank you, Girl Nettles. Thank you for joining us. Theo, just before we go to some fan questions, David, I'm just going to come back to you for a tick. My daughter sent me a screenshot and she's like, he's got a bird on his shoulder. Have you got...
I have a bird, yeah. This is an Australian galah,
Yes.
the rose cock. I kind of can't hang out during the day without him, so I have little choice, but...
I totally
Yeah.
missed it. So she sent me the screenshot and said, Mum, he's got a bird on his shoulder. And I was like, how did I miss that? Okay, what's his name?
I didn't do that.
Well, so this is Cleo, rhymes with Theo, actually. She's a big fan.
My niece is called Cleo.
Yeah.
What's that?
My niece is actually called Cleo.
Awesome.
Well, there you go, girl.
Thank you, David. Right, Theo, before we launch into some fan questions on here, we've got people who are sending in questions as well from YouTube. So I'm going to just ask one of the YouTube questions first. And this is from Naomi in Texas. And she's asked, if you could have played another character in House of the Dragon, what role would you have wanted to play and why?
Ooh. I think Daemon's character is the most fun, isn't he? He has the most fun. So I think everyone would probably say Daemon. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go Daemon. He has the most fun. He does whatever he wants whenever he wants. So yeah.
Awesome.
But I mean, Matt's done a great job, so I think I'd be setting myself up to fail there. But yeah.
Cool. Thank you. Right, so Theo, our first Zoom question from a fan is from Cara Lee, and she is in Kentucky. So Cara, what's your question?
Hi, Theo. My question is if you could add any scene for Leanor between the third episode and the fifth episode, just because you weren't that present compared to the main characters, what would you add? And especially like if you were to add one with Savannah or someone.
Oh, Savannah, man. I haven't seen Savannah for so long. She's amazing. What would I add? I'd probably build something a little bit stronger with Joffrey, to be honest. If I was to add any character in, or with Corlys, a little bit more father-son, so you see that they got a close bond type thing. Definitely something that builds the connection between the families. I'm not sure specifically what that'd be, but something, because when he got married, I'm not sure how much of it made the cut, but there was a scene with Rhaenys where she kind of like put her arms on her shoulder, and she's sad that he's gone now. He's passing him on to live with a different family, and he's not really going to be in their house anymore type thing. And it was like a mother-son moment that was really nice when we shot it. And I'm not sure how much of it made the cut, but I'd love to invest in stuff like that with the family, just see a bit more prominent, so you set how much they mean to each other going into the fall, if that makes sense, where they kind of like fall apart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely thought that since there's so many time jumps, they kind of really brushed past the Velaryon family's dynamic, which is one of the most important families in the story. So I was thinking, I really wish they kind of fleshed out the family more, showed us more of Leanor and especially Laena, who I also felt they really underdeveloped. But it's good to hear what you thought, because I was thinking the same thing too. But yeah, thank you so much for answering.
It's there's so much storyline. Imagine, say everything we all want to be in every episode would be 4 hours long. It's so hard to get it all in. Even there's little bits of takes that we were saying before. There's little bits of scenes where you go, oh, that bit of dialogue seemed that it was gone, or that bit of dialogue. And as I say, the episode would just be so long. So they kind of have to make decisions with your Daemons and Rhaenyra. They kind of have to take prominence because obviously they're the central characters. Mm-hmm. And the other characters get shaved down a lot more, but there's no other way to do it, I don't think.
Mm-hmm. So thank you for filling in some gaps then.
Yeah. No worries. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you. Theo, we now are going to Ecuador, and we've got a question from Tiffany. So Tiffany, what's your question?
Hi, Theo. So my question is, what do you like most about acting?
Oh. What do I like most about acting? The people. You meet so many really cool people. And you meet people, for me especially, I'm from Liverpool, so Liverpool's like a working class city who's known for the football club and obviously the Beatles and stuff, but more so for football and boxing and stuff like that. So the people I meet in acting are usually the opposite of me in many ways, from different backgrounds and stuff. So between the people, I'd say, and travelling, getting to see different places. We shot on the beach in Cornwall, and we got to swim in the waves and stuff like that. And you just think stuff like that, it's just amazing. So yeah, the travelling and the people, definitely.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tiffany. Theo, have you got any as travel on your bucket list? Have you got any places that you really want to visit?
Oh, loads. Thailand's the main one for me.
Yeah.
A lot of my friends have been to Thailand, but I haven't managed to get out there yet. I need to do that. Yeah. Has anyone been?
Not me. Anyone else? No, everyone's shaking their head.
We'll all go together. Let's all go together.
Hold on. I'm in New Zealand. You actually have to say whether you want to or not. You can be like, oh, I really want to visit New Zealand. You need to visit New Zealand.
No, do you know why I do want to? Yeah, in New Zealand, you've got city kickboxing, haven't you?
We've got what? Sorry?
City kickboxing.
Do we? Oh.
Yeah, Israel Adesanya.
Oh, yes, we do. Yes. I know him. Yeah.
I need to go to the gym. I need to go and see Israel, man.
No, that's cool. Okay, right. So now we are going to Peru, and we've got a question from Ana Maria.
Hi, Theo.
Hello.
Hello. Okay, my question is, how do you find the civil relationship of Laenor and Laena? Because we actually never got to see it at all. What advice would he have given to Laena before marrying Daemon?
What advice would you have given her? I don't think she needs his advice, to be honest. She's very smart. I'm not sure she needs to take his advice. What advice would you have given her? Probably just to be careful and to watch your back, really. But ultimately, I think she's bright enough to take her own advice. And Leanor's not in the best situation himself, so I don't think he's there to pass advice on to other people. What was the first part of your question? Or was that it?
How was the relationship between Laenor and Laena? Because we actually never see a lot of content about it in the show.
I know. We were saying something similar to before. Me and Carla Lee were saying, weren't we? It's quite difficult to get it all in. So in terms of the relationship, I mean, me and Savannah got on really well. But in terms of the character relationship, you don't get to see a lot of it. But in my mind, they were always quite close, and she understands him. There's a scene where Joffrey and Leanor are dancing, and it's after like the Dance of the Dragons. It's like when everyone's up on the dance floor, and I think Joffrey and Leanor end up face to face, and then Laena comes over and pulls Leanor aside, and he's like, "No, not right now. We're in a wedding. Like this, you can't be doing what you want to do." So I think that alone told me like she understands Leanor. So that bond that they have, you don't get to see a lot of it, but for me, they were always quite close, and none of them end up with a great deal at the end of it. But I think they've done the best they could.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Right, Theo, we have got a question from Lilith in Russia, in Moscow, and she has asked, what is it like filming the war on the Stepstones, and how is it different considering the character is on Dragonback?
How is it different? How is it different to be? Is she there?
Well, no, she's watching this live on YouTube.
Oh.
Yeah. So what was it like filming the war on the Stepstones?
Oh, filming the war was amazing, but the thing is, because my character doesn't get into the actual battle, like in terms of his hands and feet being ground level, I filmed the dragon on my own.
Right. At
a separate time. So the actual war, I weren't filming at the same time, which I did actually try and get involved in it, but you said no. But yeah, so I filmed a separate time on the dragon. But yeah, we got told it was really fun. So I wish I'd have been involved.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you. Okay, so now we're going to Mexico, and it's the Benoye. I'm sorry if I've pronounced your name incorrectly. I did try really hard to learn it, but we go to Mexico.
Hi, Theo. I'm very honored to be able to talk to you. During the shooting of the fight that broke out in episode 5, the audience didn't get to actually see how the fight broke out between Kristen Cole and Joffrey. So what do you think actually happened while the audience was watching Daemon and Rhaenyra planning to escape and elope?
Oh, that's interesting, yeah. So when we shot it, there was the scene, I don't think it made the edit, but me and Solly, who plays Joffrey, we were standing over the side, and essentially we're standing talking, and I think Daemon is saying to Rhaenyra, like, Leanor fancies boys, he's in love with Joffrey. I think that bit made it, and you kind of get a pan of a side angle of Leanor and Joffrey standing there. And essentially me and Solly over there were basically looking over towards Kristen Cole again. And essentially he's gone over to basically, they had the words beforehand, didn't they? Kind of saying, I know about you, it is what it is type thing. So Joffrey's character basically went over to Kristen Cole again and was just winding him up. Essentially, that's what Joffrey's character, that's what Joffrey does. So he went over and we were at the side, and essentially Leanor and Joffrey were saying, yeah, go and dig the needle in a little bit, wind him up, see see what happens type thing, and then next thing, the fight just breaks out. So yeah, Joffrey started it.
Well, thank you so much. It's very interesting to hear that. And so I hope you can come to Mexico one day. And we can meet.
You know what? I'm actually learning Spanish at the minute.
Sorry?
I'm actually learning Spanish at the minute.
Oh, can you say something in Spanish?
Oh, well,
No pressure.
Si yo hablo español. No? Yeah? Did you hear me?
No, it cut out a bit, Theo. Maybe do that one again.
Ah, that was me. Wait, yo hablo español?
Sí, está bien.
Yeah, that's all I've got. I haven't got anything else. Give me like 2 weeks, I'll be back on.
So Theo, how are you learning the Spanish? Are you going to classes, or are you like there's Duolingo? I know my daughter once upon a time used that to learn Spanish. How are you learning it?
Right. I used to do it in school, and I was really good at it. And then I got good, and I thought I don't need to learn this no more. I can do this.
Yeah.
And then I tried to do it again like a few years ago, and I couldn't remember any of it. I was devastated. So a few months back, I jumped on Duolingo, and I've got an 8-day streak at the minute. So
look at that.
I'm in the mix.
Cool. So 2 weeks, you reckon you'll be fluent?
I'm not bad now. The only thing I struggle with is it's a bit fast for me. So it takes me ages to work out what's getting said. But if it's written down, I can reply to it.
Yeah.
Not all of it, but bit.
Yeah. You got to use it, otherwise you lose it, eh? Yeah.
True.
Okay, so we have got a question from Heather, who's watching this live on live on YouTube. She's in the UK. So she said, did you get to come up with your own thoughts regarding Laenor's relationship with his parents? Did you talk to Steve and Eve about it?
No, I just came up with my own stuff. I mean, that's your own work to do as an actor. If it's not in the script, it's not really worth. I'm not going to go to Steve and basically bother him with stuff that he doesn't need to be bothered with. The job's hard enough. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I get the question. But for me, it was more so about doing my own work and bringing that into the relationship. What I think the relationship would have, and also the director. And I think it helps as well because my character and Steve's character didn't really have any one-on-one dialogue. There's a bit in the Stepstones where we have words. Basically, he's just telling me to behave myself. But other than that, it's not really anything. Oh, that was another bit actually. So the bit where Leanor finds Joffrey, we actually shot a version of that where Steve walks over and basically pulls Leanor up off the floor and tells him to sort himself out. Because he can't be seen to be crying in front of people and da-da-da-da. But I don't think that made the edit neither. So there's little bits like that you think maybe would need some character development or would give an insight to what the character's relationship is. But again, I don't really think it made the edit, so it don't really matter.
Okay, thanks Theo. So we're going to South Africa and we've got a question from Dylan.
Hey Theo, how are you?
What's up, mate? How are you?
I'm good. So my question is, did you know the fate of your character before you were cast? Obviously it was changed from the source material. And seeing as how your character and Milly's character, Rhaenyra, made a deal into the marriage, do you think your character realized that he could die for being involved in the Targaryen family drama?
Yeah. Do you know what? I think that's the second part of your question. I'll answer that first. I think for Leanor, he doesn't really care about that because there's a line on the beach where he says he thought he'd die in battle before his father married him off. So for Leanor, he's not really someone who dwells upon how he's going to die. He's a day-to-day kind of guy. And when you've been to that many battles, he's been to, well, I had in my mind that he's been to at least 3 or 4 by now. So he's seen it a lot. He's not really afraid of that part. And what was the first part of your question?
Did you know the fate of your character before you were cast?
Oh, yeah. So essentially when you audition for it, because there's certain things that you have to do, I was basically told what, not the arc of the character, but the scene where he finds Joffrey's body, that wasn't in the audition, but it was basically a thing of, can you cry on cue type thing? Can you, it's an emotional range thing, can you do that type of stuff? So yeah, I was filled in briefly on the character, where it's roughly going, but not the whole thing.
Thank you very much for your answers.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Dylan. Okay, Theo, I'm going to confess, I love Game of Thrones, love House of the Dragon, but there are some people who are massive fans, obviously, and so there are some things that I'm not quite sure about, and so one person from YouTube has sent in a question, and I was like, what do they mean by that? But obviously she explained it, and then I felt really silly that I didn't know what she meant. So this question is from Guatemala, and she said, Theo, you were awesome. What was harder, the buck work? I didn't know what she meant, but now I do. The buck work or the wedding dance?
The wedding dance was harder, yeah. The wedding dance was harder. Okay. The bookwork, yeah, I know what you mean. Bookwork, it's a mad phrase, isn't it? So you're like, what's that?
Well, I was like, so I said to Shelley, can you ask her what she meant? And apparently everybody knows except us that it's about, riding the dragon, or the buck is the dragon, essentially. So now I kind of feel foolish, and it's all out there for everyone to see. But anyway, so the wedding dance was harder, was it?
Yeah. The bookwork weren't hard at all. It was amazing. It was so much fun. That was quite easy. The dance, with the dance, it's just, I've got like a video on my phone. I'll probably never show anyone, but it's like a rehearsal video. When we basically done the dance, and it's like it's the beats constantly, trying to hit the beats, because obviously with the music, and then it's me and Milly trying to be in sync with it, and it's one thing learning the steps, but then another thing to do it right and get it right numerous amounts of takes, and then you put the costumes on, and when we learned it, there was no one in the room, and then you do it, and there's like 300 people in there. So, yeah, the dance was definitely harder.
You know that people are now going to want to see that, don't you? That you've still got on your phone.
Oh, yeah. I'm gonna ban my phone.
Okay.
Can I ask a quick follow-up to that, actually?
Yeah, go, David.
It's so interesting, the dance. Seemed like it had a lot of dragon wing flapping and maybe some symbolism going on. I'm sorry for my birds. What can you tell us? Did they tell you anything about what the movements were supposed to mean?
Not really. I mean, I think at the end, don't forget, when you film this type of thing, time is of the essence. Do you know what I mean? Especially even in rehearsals and stuff like that. Everyone's running from this bit to rehearse over there, or to go and shoot this. It's like there's not a lot of time to be dwelling on stuff. So I think in terms of rehearsal, we rehearsed maybe twice for like 2-hour periods, maybe an hour each time. And I think the moves were enough for me and Milly to be like, what? Rather than, we don't even need meanings, it's just like, put your arms there, do this, do that, and then make sure you can kind of make it look at least half decent. But yeah, I think the end bit was like a bow for like the dragon. You see the arms coming up and that type of thing. But yeah, I don't think we need the meanings. I'm not a dancer, and Milly's not a dancer neither. So, unless it's a Saturday night,
Awesome. Cool. Awesome, thank you. We have got a question from Diana, and she's who's watching this live, and she has asked, have you got a favourite story about Matt Smith, and have you got anything you learned from him?
Learned from Matt? Nothing. Nothing. I'm joking. Matt, by the way, what an actor. What an actor. Any funny story? I've got a few funny stories, to be honest. Not ones I'll probably share here.
Oh, come on! Look, it's just between friends. There's only a few of us.
No, the thing is, right, I only worked with them for like 2 weeks, 3 weeks. They all worked together for like a year.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But not really like funny stories, but he's a really, really nice guy. Great man.
Cool.
In terms of learning stuff off him, I learned loads watching him rehearse. And I don't even know what the word is. Because obviously you're rehearsing, and it's kind of like, you're still on set, the set's obviously still there and stuff like that, but it's like Saturday morning, everyone's kind of wind down, been a long week, and there's bits you watch to rehearse, and the first time I met him, I think it was, he came in and done a rehearsal. And yeah, I sat at the side and I was just watching. It's the scene where, I forget the character's name, is it Gerald Royce, is it? Is that the character's name?
Oh, somebody.
I can't remember. And it's not important. Anyway.
Okay.
So the character comes up to Matt and essentially saying, "You killed my cousin, your wife, and I know, and I'm gonna tell everyone," type thing. And they rehearsed that scene. And again, it was like a Saturday morning and really chill. And I think just watching Matt's demeanor, the nonchalance that he kind of approached it with, even though it's what's being said is really important. And when I seen it, I was like, that is Daemon, isn't it? Like, it's just he's. I don't know what I'm trying to think of like some terminology for it, but yeah, he's just so casual amongst the chaos. He should be panicking and stuff like that, and he's like, no, he's really smug. And yeah, watching Matt do that. Yeah, he was brilliant.
Cool. Awesome. Okay, so Theo, we are going to Argentina and we've got Florencia. What's your question for Theo?
Hi, Theo. My question for you is, my question for you is, what do you think was the reason Leanor ran away in episode 7?
What? Can you say that again, please?
What do you think was the reason Leanor ran away in episode 7?
The reason he ran away, he just had enough, hadn't he? Like, I think there's a thousand reasons he ran away. I think if he had the choice, he would have run away at the end of episode 5. I'm not sure. I think by the episode 7 or 8, which one was it? 8, 7 or 8, one of them. But at that time, he checked out years ago. So I don't really have a concrete reason why he done it, but whatever reason he gives, that's good enough for me.
Cool. Thank you, Valencia. So we're going to New Zealand, and we've got Avril, a fellow Kiwi. Avril, what's your question?
Hi, Theo. Lovely to meet you. My question is, actually seeing you now, and my question is, how long does it take for you to get all prepared with the sets, the scenery, but the costumes and the makeup? How long does that take each time you set up for filming? Because you are unbelievably... Sorry?
I'm like Superman in a phone booth, like that. So
really?
No.
I would never have recognised you had I not written. You look so incredibly different. Do you grow your beard so you don't get recognised, or?
No, I just grew this because I thought I had to. I thought it was necessary. You know what I mean? Joe, I'm coming through quite strong now. How long do you reckon this took?
That is amazing. It's a really good beard, I've got to say. Well, how do you do this little business in here? That must be tricky.
I've got a guy for that. I've got a guy, you know.
Oh, God, you don't even do it yourself.
No, it takes a while in the morning to get the wig on and stuff like that.
Yeah.
About an hour, maybe. Do you know what? It's funny you say that because the woman in Tesco recognises me all the time.
Really?
Yeah. It's
Can you also just talk in your stage actor's voice just for a couple of moments so that I actually realise it really is you?
Yeah. It's no. Would you want me to use me accent?
Yes, please. Just for a moment.
You have to transfer me about £200 million, and then I'll do that, and then. No.
Oh, hey, that's a bit rough. I can't do it.
I'll just
go back on the screen and watch it.
There you go, that's the right answer.
Yeah. I watched it. It's lovely, but thank you very much. I didn't actually hear the time it took you. You cut out.
So, roughly about an hour of a morning.
Oh, okay. Not so bad.
No, not so bad. I get nice long hair like yours, and
yeah, you look amazing. Gorgeous costume. Whoever makes the costuming is just fabulous. Beautiful
Yeah.
gear. But thank you very much, and all the best for whatever you're doing, and we look forward to season 2.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Awesome. Cool.
Bye.
So Theo, how long did it take? The beard.
The beard. Oh, what? This is about 3 months now. You know.
Okay. Is that good? Like, I don't know. Is that good? For 3 months?
You know what, right? I'm actually looking at the camera, and I don't think the camera's doing it justice, because in person it's phenomenal.
Oh, right. Okay.
It looks phenomenal on camera too. Don't worry.
Awesome. Okay, so we have got a question from the Black Legacy Twitter page, who has asked, what created the bond between Rhaenyra and Laenor, given it was under sad circumstances of a political marriage and losing Joffrey?
Do you know what? I think they're just the bond. Well, it's a friendship bond first of all, isn't it? So I think that, and the fact of in episode 5, where she basically comes to him on the beach and says, we can be friends, and I know your secrets. We're gonna get through this together. I think the bond starts there, really. He notices she's not an enemy. She's an ally. So yeah, I think the bond starts there, and ultimately they're in the same boat. Really, none of them want to be doing what they're doing, but again, there's no way out at the beginning. So yeah, I think that first conversation is important on the beach, because that sets up the next episode. So that's where the bond starts for me.
Cool. Thank you. Theo, we are going to Turkey, and we've got a question from Ishak.
Ishak, come on.
Oh, where is he? He was here before. Oh, I think he must have dropped out. Okay, so we will go to...
We're boring him, mate. He's got off.
No, he was here. He was here because we signed him in. But okay, sometimes internet connection. But we're going to go to Kayla. Kayla, have you got a question?
Hi, Theo. How are you?
I am phenomenal. How are you?
I'm doing good. Woke up just for you.
Yes. What time is it?
It's 10:52 a.m. over here, but I'm not a morning person, so.
Okay.
Okay, so for me, you set up Laenor's character in the show, you know. He's kind of in that teen stage when we do see you. My question for you is, how would you describe Laenor's internal struggles that he has before we see him grow up into this adult version who's still struggling?
Yeah, well, do you know what? He kind of wears his heart on his sleeve, and he's very brave, I think. And ultimately, he doesn't shy away from who he is. So I don't think he kind of struggles in silence, but everyone knows. So I don't know. There's a lot going on. He's a very complicated character. He's the type of character who could have his own spin-off. Do you know what I mean? It's just like there's so much going on there. But then again, I think that is George R.R. Martin. That's his genius. Every character you think, oh, they could have a series of their own. There's so much going on with all of them. But for Leanor, yeah, he's very conflicted. He kind of doesn't get to live his own truth. Or he does, and then basically gets snatched away from him, doesn't it? So, yeah, I don't know. I hope that's answered your question.
No, it does. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Awesome. We've got so many questions coming through on YouTube, and so I'm just trying to choose which ones we should go to.
These are good ones. Yeah, there's the really good ones.
I know, but there's so many. Then I feel really bad that we're missing some out. But actually, I would like to know where were you and what were you doing when you found out that you were cast?
Where was I? I was in the house. It was locked down.
Oh, was it? Right.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it was locked down. Do you know what? I say that all the time. That's the weird part about the show, because essentially you go from walking around the house, seeing like maybe one person a day, to all of a sudden you get dragged to London to be in this massive TV show, and there's hundreds of people there.
Yeah.
And it's kind of daunting. But yeah, I was in the house. I was just in the house, got the call, and to be honest, at that stage, I was like, I'd been through, I think, like 3-4 rounds. So you get to the stage where you're just like, oh, just let me know either way.
Yep.
it is what it is at this point. You really want to do it, but it's like there's nothing else you can do to prove that you're good enough for the role or that you think you do a good job. So yeah, I was just in the house relaxing and I got the call and then I said, you know what? Cheers.
So, because it was a lockdown, did you have to send in tapes? Was that what the whole casting audition process was like, or no?
Well, no, initially I did. Sorry to cut you off. Initially I did. I sent in a tape, the first tape, and then I got a call back like a week later maybe, and the call back was in person. So then you come to London for the old Watford for the call back, and yeah, we done the scene with Ryan and Miguel and everyone in the room, and you kind of you think I thought it went well. I had the feeling it went well, but you don't really know, do you? Kind of like, because sometimes the auditions you go for, you go, oh my god, I've nailed that one, and then
didn't happen.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So all there's ones where you go, oh my god, that was awful, and then you get a call and you got the job. It's so crazy. It's so crazy. So yeah, I had a good feeling about it, but you never know whether to trust it or not.
So
and then I got.
Oh no, carry on. Sorry.
Yeah, so basically I'd done the audition, then I went back home, and the drive from London to Liverpool was like 3 hours, 2.5 hours, 3 hours. Oh no, it's 4 hours. Sorry, 4 hours. So I'm in the back of the car, and we just went on because we couldn't get trains as well. So the train's like 2 hours, but they put us in the car, which made it even longer. So I'm sitting there, and my agent called and was like, "How did it go?" And I went, "It went really well." And I remember saying, "I feel like I'm gonna get it." And she was like, "Oh my god." And she got excited, and then literally, I think like the next day or maybe 2 days later, I got a Skype call with Kate Rhodes James, the casting director, and then she was basically briefing me on the scene, which is my character's height, is where he finds Joffrey, and have you done emotional scenes? How do you feel about it? And then I sent another tape from then that I'd done for something differently, basically to say that it was like an emotional tape, just to say that I can do it, that I've got it in me. In my repertoire. And then yeah, kind of the next day that was the Friday when I sent the final tape, and then the Monday I got the call to say I got the job.
And how did you celebrate? Oh, I know you were in lockdown. Could you celebrate? Or what did you do?
Mate, yeah, I went out. I went around to my mates and we just got drunk. But the thing was, I walked in and I was telling my friends, I was like, one of my friends is a massive Game of Thrones fan, and I walked in and essentially I told him, and he was obviously made up, and he was congratulations, and then he said, he didn't tell me this till months down the line, but then he said to me like, when you first told me about House of the Dragon, and I was like, yeah. He was like, I was sitting there and I didn't know whether to say well done, purely because I knew Game of Thrones didn't have a sequel. So he thought when I was telling him, he thought, oh my god, he's got this wrong.
Oh no.
As in, I've got a job that's something really small and I'm thinking it's something really big. So yeah. I went round, told my mates, we had a few drinks, and it was amazing. Really good time.
Cool. We're going to squeeze a couple more in just before our hour's up. It's flown by. We've got a question from Reddit, the House of the Dragon Reddit page, and they have asked, which actress was the most intimidating for you to interact with off camera initially?
None.
None?
No. There's lots of high profile actors on set, but like you'd never know it when you talk to them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There was no one there that you like kind of makes you feel like you're beneath them type thing. Nothing like that. Like everyone was really, really nice. If anything, you'd never think Paddy Considine had done what he'd done, or Matt, or anyone. You think it was the first day on the job.
Yeah.
It was just really nice. Do you know what I mean?
Awesome. Okay, so we are going to the Philippines, and I know Jacob has been up for, I think it was 1 o'clock there, so it's now probably 2 a.m. in the morning. Jacob, what is your question? Where's he going?
First of all, a huge fan. It's an honor to meet you.
Thank you.
Laenor's story is relatable, where he's forced to choose between his freedom and his duty to his family and to the realm. So, my question is that, are all actors and actresses who are portraying Targaryens and Velaryons are required to learn how to speak High Valyrian?
Oh, no, well, only if you've got text in High Valyrian. I only had like, what, 2 words? Or maybe 1 word? So yeah, it's really difficult. I remember seeing Milly and Matt learning it, and they had pages of it. And I remember sitting there watching and rehearsing it. And when you look and you think, oh, well, that's not me. Like when you're training as an actor, you do loads of Shakespeare and stuff like that, and that's hard enough. But High Valyrian is just a different breed. It's really tough.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you,
Thank
Jacob.
you.
Hey, and Jacob, thank you so much for getting up at crazy o'clock to join us. So you can go back to bed shortly. So Theo, we've just had Melanie join from Mexico. So I'm thinking Melanie might have got the time zones incorrect. So Melanie, you're going to be one of our lucky last. Hello, Melanie. How are you?
Hi, I'm sorry. I was just late because I'm confused with the time.
That's okay.
Oh, come on, Melanie.
I'm really sorry. Well, my question is, how do you audition? How do you feel when you were selected for Laenor Velaryon?
Melanie, you just missed that answer, but Theo, you can give the short version.
Yeah, it was amazing. It was really, really, really nice. When I first got the role, it was lockdown. That's what I was saying before. So yeah, I was basically seeing 1 person a day to seeing 100 people a day on set, or more than 100. But yeah, really, really nice. It was only my second job out of drama school, out of training. So to get a job that big is amazing. And I never got that second part of the answer in. So Melanie, thank you for bringing that out to me.
Cool. Right. Thank you so much, Melanie. And I'm sorry that you'll have to watch the replay on YouTube. So.
Oh yes, I'm really sorry.
Oh, don't apologise.
That's okay. Theo, we are up on our hour, so I just wanted to say a huge thank you so much for joining, and I do hope that we can chat again one day.
Definitely. It's flew by.
Oh, I know. And I just also wanted to say a few thank yous. Ashley, who has been amazing at organising a whole lot of people to come on and doing all the promos and flyers. So thank you, Ashley. She's not on here, but also to David and Ashaya, Ari and Denise, Gil Nettles. Thank you so much for joining. Those people who are watching it live on YouTube, I'm sorry we couldn't get all your question answered, but Theo has said that he will come back one day, so I will hold those questions. And Shelley and Bella, thank you so much for doing behind the scenes work, and yeah, everyone who's watching it live and those fans on Zoom. But yeah, thank you so much, Theo. And enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your questions. You were all great. Lovely to meet you all.
Awesome.
Lovely. Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you.